we're live in another server.
Oh, that's fun that they're also incentivizing Wax USDT with Woof.
I thought they were already doing that.
Yeah, it's just a fun one to have just Woof going. I mean, I used to do it with Wax as well.
Could be like Alcor if Alcor's a partner. More than the Wolf team directly, because
Yeah, that would make sense. I feel like Alcor
I think Alcor is
should be a partner.
one of the partner collections or whatever, partner projects for Wolf, and since that is their bridged USDT, like makes sense that they would want to.
They're also giving out 1 billion Woof, so it feels like close to what I'd expect.
What's the time period?
33 days.
That's a lot of Wolf in not time. Probably pretty decent APR, APY.
Not so crazy. It's only 13% because there's so much fucking money in that pool already.
I wonder if that means like you try to do a big USDT trade, it ends up getting routed like through Wolf instead of Wax.
Oh, it is USDT Wax. Is the pool that's
Oh,
being? They're just paying Woof as the reward.
okay, that makes sense why there's so much liquidity in there.
Yeah, there's millions of Wax, like 3 million Wax deep or something.
Going on, Random King, an hypothesis. And yes, I did get a haircut. Today, we were talking, well, just now, we were talking about the Wolf rewards for the Wax USDT pool on Alcor. We're here, but the
Oh
counter
yeah,
isn't. What is the counter? Like, how many people are watching? Zoom.
the counter.
Oh, and today I'm looking at,
Welcome to the.
this is the news I was waiting to say on stream, but
Oh yeah,
Wolf
what's
posted
the news?
June 25th. That was yesterday. They
Uh
posted
huh.
Wolf on Solana, Wolf on Wax, Wolf on Base, Wolf on question mark question mark. What's next? And then they tagged the Ton blockchain.
Oh no way! Yes,
So people are
that's awesome.
speculating that they could be working on a bridge to Ton.
That would be fucking huge again. Like that's another bridged ecosystem that isn't super easy to bridge into and out of, from Wax at least, or from Solana directly. Like that's cool.
I'd be into it. I mean, I definitely want more stake in Ton, so if it's easier to get my stuff over there
Same.
from. I still have like
Yeah, if I
a
could just.
few 100 million, I think, Wolf on Wax too, so I'd bridge that over to Ton for sure.
Yeah, same. If they had a fucking LP where they're giving you like Ton rewards or even Woof rewards for a pair of like Woof with Ton, I'd do that. Hell yeah.
I don't know if I'd expect that just because they never did that on Base.
Yeah, that's true. Although I guess that's true. They didn't really do anything on base. They just created the bridge and that's it. Put up some liquidity and
Honestly,
have at
good
it.
enough in my opinion for the
Yeah.
utility of being able to go trade Wax into tokens on Base pretty directly.
I kind of agree with that actually. In that sense, if there is nothing other than a bridge, then I probably wouldn't like supply liquidity. I'll just like farm,
If they
or
didn't
I'll just use it
announce
to move.
the thing for the rewards on Base, I would have had no problem with that either. The only reason it was like kind of disappointing
Yeah.
is because they worded an announcement that very much sounded like there's going to be farming rewards over on Base, and
Yeah.
I don't know. This is a miscommunication, but
Yeah. It's okay, but would have been nice to get a nice little LP going there, a little pool, earn some, I don't know, BSX.
I hope this is like
I think that's
more of a legitimate announcement than just like uh, engagement
just the
bait, I
hype.
guess you would call it. Like just trying to get people to be
Yeah.
like, yeah, like I don't know, but it does sound like they're doing something next. Tune was saying on our Discord he thought they'd do Polygon next since there's already a Polygon bridge. It does make sense to me, but I'm like, they did directly tag the base block, or I mean the Ton blockchain, so it's weird that they
Yeah.
would
I
tag them
wouldn't
if
hate
that was
seeing
not.
Polygon and Binance Smart Chain being added. That would be nice because we already have bridges to that from Wax in other directions. So it'd be cool to have that also become part of like the Woofy ecosystem.
The BSC one though is, I guess there is for blockchain brawlers, but there isn't like an FT bridge
Yeah.
yet.
Oh, there isn't. Oh, okay. Well, that'd be a cool thing to have,
Yeah,
especially since we have an
either for
NFC bridge.
Polygon,
Yeah,
but the actually I think there is like I don't know. I'm not sure about the Polygon. I think it's just NFT right now. There is like I mean the way to bridge to BSC is through TLM, so there is a way to bridge, but that's not run by the Wax team.
that's true. The TLM. What is that called?
Like teleportation or something they call it.
Yeah, that's it. Like
I've never
portal,
actually
the
used
TLM
that,
portal.
but as far as I
When I first looked into using it, it had a 3-day like claim period from moving from Wax onto ETH mainnet. But that was also like 3 years ago or something. So I feel like it's probably a lot better now.
I mean that's not necessarily a bad thing. Like doesn't the Arbitrum bridge take multiple days?
Arbitrum takes 7 days, yeah. But that's again like there's non-native options, so you can bridge in like 7 seconds if you're using like Squid Router or something like that.
Yeah, I just mean for the safety of the bridge. Like it's not necessarily a
But
bad
yeah,
idea to have a
I totally agree. Yeah,
couple day
I
buffer in
prefer
there.
if it's gonna be like a bridge where like assets are sitting in a honeypot. I prefer that honeypot is controlled by human like decision making versus like entirely controlled by an automated thing.
There's also a risk for that too,
But
though, because if people lose the keys, then they can
yeah,
just steal
people
it all.
suck.
But yeah, I don't know.
That's
It's not
true. I don't
necessarily
know.
not
Bridges in general
necessarily a
are
bad
kind of like
thing.
yeah, not the worst.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd be pretty stoked on that if Woofy ends up on the Ton chain because we just started our Ton chain exploration, and Ton chain is
Yeah.
pretty dope. And I also feel like now that
Do
you
it all
can
on my
get
phone. Let's see what we got going.
now that you can get Woof over to base chain, I feel like that just kind of like no, you can't directly get it to every layer 2 Ethereum, but once you're on one layer 2 Ethereum, it's super easy to get to the other ones. So I sort of feel like we have that covered. I guess is Ton considered a layer 2 Ethereum? I don't know if Ton is.
I think it's a layer one. Like Ton is like its own blockchain.
Yeah, I feel like those bridges are more important at this point because if you want to go over like to even to Polygon, it's not hard to get from base chain to Polygon. It's super cheap, super easy, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like I would rather have
Polygon
it
is
go to
very
Ton than to Polygon if we're like
yeah, exactly. I agree with that too. Plus, that gives me an avenue to move some of the stuff I have on base or on Solana into Ton, or vice versa. Which that like that direct route doesn't really exist super well yet. Although I guess let me check. Maybe Squid has added them.
yeah, if Ton gets added, Woof is becoming like the most successful thing the Wax team has ever done, as far as like running their own projects go. Assuming the Wax team
Which
made
is great
Woof.
because they should. I feel like they should stick to that shit. Like they should stick to what they're good at, and they're good at getting like hype, getting fucking like centralized exchange supports, integrating into like other projects, and that's perfect for like a meme coin like that. I think it's cool to see.
Yeah, I don't know how much of this is confirmed. Our confirmation is what's next? Ton blockchain with the like scratching the chin face. I know like I do know that the, like what we say in the Wax unofficial Telegram channel somehow makes its way. Like the Wax team isn't really in there anymore, but they like I think the OIG report on it, like the OIG or the IGs, the inspector generals, the Wax inspector generals, they're all in that chat and they read all of our constant bitching 7 days a week in that channel, and then they relay some of that information to the
Nice.
Wax team. And people have been really talking about how Ton is just exploding, and it's like reminds us of Wax in 2021 and how many users they're able to onboard and how easily it is. So I wouldn't be surprised if that made its way to the Wax team and are like, hey, like a bunch of stuff we were doing on Wax is basically what's happening on Ton. So maybe the users there would be interested in some of the stuff we have over here, which isn't a horrible thing to think because we still have Wombat, Alien Worlds, and then Wax is trying to make Tycoon Spin Tycoon or whatever. It's like some sort of clicker game. And then Music Mogul is also technically a clicker, so like I think it's within their own interests to try to get more clicker people involved in their projects on Wax. So it would make sense to me that the Wax team works on developing a bridge over to Ton. But yeah, this definitely doesn't confirm it. This is 100% speculation, but this is the only news I really heard about Wax this week. And I was telling Max before stream, I was like, yeah, there's no news on Wax this week. I was like, oh, I forgot yesterday. There's a ambiguous tweet about Ton with the scratching of the face and woof.
Yeah. Let's see. I don't even think Squid Router lets you get into Ton. At least the V2 doesn't.
And Random King says, I heard Wax has a clicker now, like the hamster game. And that is true. There it is. The first tapper on Wax. Evolve your pug.
Oh, really? Oh, what? When did that come out?
I think last week or the week before. Pretty new.
Oh. Am I still in time to get early on these pugs? Although I prefer my cats. I have to say my cats are getting fat, dude. I'm at a level 170 almost.
I think this one's kind of like the hamster game. And this is made by the people at ErotiQuest, like 3D Render.
Oh, that's cool. They've been around for a while too.
I think they're still blockchain producers in the Wax. Oops. Somebody gave me an invite code that I can share in our chat if anyone wants to check it out. RCKMTL is his invite code if anyone wants to try it. And it is in Telegram, so you could potentially be crossing over into the same audience that's playing all those other games. I also think like that is what people should be focusing on, as far as like people should be focusing on stuff more where you're able to play the game without the signing into the Wax wallet. I don't know if that's how this one works, but like the ease of onboarding for these Ton games is why they're working so well, in my opinion. I posted this last night. I was saying, what did I say? Games of Ton are more game first, crypto second. And by that, I mean signing in with the wallet is not the first step. The games are clickers and they still suck. So it's not like they're focusing on developing great games. They make it very easy to onboard new users who don't necessarily have to know anything about crypto. If you look at like the amount of users playing the cat game or the amount of users playing the hamster game, there's like millions and millions and millions. And then like, I think they said there's like 1.2 million people have done on-chain actions in the cat game. There's like, 10 million accounts, and only like 1 out of 10 accounts is even interacting with the blockchain. But that's possible with a game that doesn't make you sign in as the first step. So, yeah, I think if that's how PugTapper works, that's like a pretty great way to like start trying to make stuff on Wax. And we are teasing that the Woof team posted that Woof, what's next? Maybe the Ton blockchain. If we have an actual bridge from Ton to Wax, then I can see a world where we are actually onboarding users from Ton that are into clickers into the Wax ecosystem once they have a stake, or can bridge over Woof, whatever not coin they sold on the Ton blockchain into Ton, then they can buy Woof with that, and then they can come over and buy stuff on the games in Wax, which would be super cool. So seeming like that's like a actual realistic strategy, assuming they're working on a bridge or willing to work on a bridge. And I will say I had no idea the base bridge was coming, so like the speed at which they did that without doing any teasing was pretty impressive. So yeah, I don't know. That'd be cool for Wax. I'm not super into the clickers right now, but like it's undeniably doing super well over in Ton. So like having any of that come over to Wax would be good for our entire ecosystem, I think.
Especially considering that right now the Ton network's bridge is only rooted in Ethereum mainnet and in Binance Smart Chain. That's it. So there's no other bridges into Ton right now. You'd have to, I guess the cheapest route would probably be like from a layer 2 Ethereum wallet into Binance Smart Chain into Ton. But if you now have it through Woofy, that's fucking awesome.
I did like a simple swap.
Simple swap's what I usually use for it too, but that's not like a DeFi bridge. Like there's no DeFi route into Ton unless you're going through mainnet or through BSC, which isn't like that bad. You can, I don't know if anyone that here is doing mainnet transactions lately, but it's cheap these days. Like it's not anything what we remember from like the height of the bull market. You can make an ETH mainnet trade for like $1.50, which is cheap compared to what we think it's probably going to cost, but it's definitely not cheap compared to like Wax or the layer 2 chains or Binance Smart Chain or whatever.
I don't think anybody outside of Wax expects transactions to be free. Like
Yeah,
one of the
exactly.
things people are talking about in like the Wax Unofficial is like although Wax is like models technically better than all the other ones, it's so different and so hard to even onboard people that understand crypto that like it kind of ended up hurting Wax in the long run because like I don't know. They're saying like it's easy to explain to someone even that's never heard of it. Like you've never used Ethereum before, it's like, okay, every time you send a transaction, it spends some of the token you're holding as a fee. Like it's a tax. People understand that concept. But you start talking about like
Yeah.
CPU, RAM, and net, and like people that have been using this blockchain for like years have no idea what net is used for. Like it's a very confusing system that you have
Yeah.
to be pretty smart to understand. So like and like yeah, I don't know. It just seems like it's even though it's better, it's very convoluted. Although technically, like now the Wax has moved to in the cloud wallet. Now you can spend Wax it power transactions, and that's now baked into it. That's like came this year. So before then, it was like you had to understand the all the network stuff. But I don't know. Who knows? Like if people come over from the Ton network and don't get staking and just all get the cloud wallet and start burning Wax to play these games, that could be very good for the Wax ecosystem as far as like
Yeah.
they're burning Wax for the transaction fees, playing clickers over here to do stuff. That would be pretty sick. I don't know that that will happen, but it honestly does not seem that unrealistic of something that could happen in the near future if they make the bridge. We'll see. Crystal is
Right.
also in the chat. She's like one of the representatives for RotaQuest. He said that Pug Tapper is our project. Thanks for the check. We're going to hold events with collections and Wax soon. We'll have a forum for partners to register. Let's help Wax collections be known in the Telegram ecosystem. Pretty dope. So maybe like
Well,
the tapping will be to distribute NFTs in the game. That's what I think RCKMTL is saying. Is not sure like what you get for playing right now, like what's distributed through it. But if different Wax partners NFTs can be distributed, that seems like a pretty cool way to expose some people on Ton to Wax projects.
yeah. Also, Ton has a lot of like appetite for clicker games like that, which is great. Like, there's a lot of that shit happening over there right now. So
Yeah, I feel
that
like
seems like a really logical next like bridge for Woofy if you're trying to like try to build some like interest in what's going on Wax.
it would be in like Wombat's or Alien World's best interest to try to partner with the Pug
Yeah.
Tapper game because like that's their audience for their game is people who don't mind clicking stuff, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of people doing that, and there's a bit of like
That
onboarding
could be a
knowledge
thing.
you need to like be able to play Wombat.
Yeah. I feel like you could do that even as like RotaQuest could just like submit a proposal to the Alien Worlds DAO and just be like, hey, we propose that you know put a bunch of TLM up to whatever. And I feel like that, I don't know. That seems like the
Yeah, that
type of
actually would be a
proposals
pretty
that
good
go through on
use
that DAO.
if you distributed
That seems
TLM
like
to
something
people
they should
tapping.
vote for. Based on what people fucking have approved in the past, that should absolutely get funding from the DAO.
People interested in clicking for tokens, that's exactly who
Yeah.
Alien Worlds is trying to onboard. So I feel like that's not a bad at all. What's the tap game?
You
You
tap
tap
until
until
you
you
die.
die.
You tap until you get new pugs, I think.
Yeah, I haven't actually tried it
Although the
yet, so I
tap
can't
until you
say.
die. Should we try it? Let's see. Wait, let me try it out.
Uh, I haven't. I don't know if it's on your phone only or whatever. Also, it's not. There's not an easy way to share Telegram.
Oh
But
right.
I just wanted to point it out because it's one of the new things I saw on Wax, and today is our Wax News Day.
I'm getting more
Um,
into Telegram ever since I got the Ton stuff going. I'm just playing like the little hamster game or the cat game and yeah, there's the tapper game. Evolve your pug.
yeah, I posted
Cute.
the link.
See, I feel like this is more my speed than like the hamster game, although the cat game still is like cats are still higher on my list. Mostly because I love like making my cats fatter. I still haven't seen how the pug evolves. So maybe I should see how fat the pug gets before I say anything. Who knows? Maybe you can get like a Jabba the pug.
All right. We can open up. We got a giveaway going if anyone wants to join. Oh, I didn't actually. Oops.
Yeah, Rockmile, you're right. That's what I was saying too. There's not really easy ways into the Ton blockchain. He's saying Ton was actually a big hassle to get into, which isn't something I've had to deal with in over a year. Yeah. I was saying like the Ton bridges that exist right now are between ETH mainnet and Binance Smart Chain. And that's it. So having a route from Wax or even from Solana or Base Chain directly into Ton Chain through Woofy is a big step. Very fucking cool.
And Klinkerstall says we're planning to deploy RotaQuest on Telegram as well. That's pretty big.
That's a good idea. Yeah, especially with the like I said, I think the Ton chain has brought a lot of interest in people playing like those types of like phone clicker type games to Telegram communities.
Honestly, just
And I feel
phone
like
in
it
general.
fits in
Like
well there.
most people are trying to play those style games on their phone, not their computers. Like clickers and computers don't really like. I don't know. And people aren't computers that are trying to play like full blown 3D games most of the time. Like those games are perfect when you're
That's
like,
yeah.
you know, you're on the toilet and you just need something to do for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like that's the best time to be playing those clickers.
Also the way that those Telegram games work is really like not invasive as far as like taking up a bunch of shit on your like real estate on your phone. It's literally just like a list on my Telegram, like all the different like bots, and then I'll click on a bot and launch the game from inside there. So it's like I don't have to install a bunch of apps and any of that. I don't know. I love that. It's cool. Definitely feels like a place for that type of like audience to be found, much more so than like currently, at least the current ecosystem on Wax isn't like tailored to it quite
It's
amazing as
also
amazingly as
kind of like a
is it Tone or
workaround.
Tom?
It's also kind of a workaround of having to like make an app in the Apple Store or in the Google Store. It's like you don't necessarily have to have your game work in those, and there's also like guidelines. You have to pretty strict guidelines to be able to get in those, but there aren't guidelines to make an app in Telegram, and lots of people interested in this stuff have Telegram, so it's kind of like a loophole to get an app on a phone. If it's, I don't know if it's easier to develop for Telegram, but it seems like a lot of people had issues getting their games in like the Apple Store. But guess what? It is in the Apple Store, Telegram, and then they download Telegram in the Apple Store, and then boom, you have something connected to your phone. That I don't know. It seems like a almost like a cool loophole for crypto stuff.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Because you're not adding your game to the Apple Store, but by having it in Telegram, it's accessible on your Apple device without any issue.
I can post a. This is not my referral link. I probably, if I was smart, would be posting my own referral link. But this is RCKMTL's referral link that he posted in our Discord. If anybody wants to try it out,
Oh,
if it's anything like the hamster game, you're gonna want to get some referrals in.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'll check it out
It's
probably later today. I just haven't had a chance to.
I'm
I
I'm
saw
interested
this at
too.
like when did he post this in our chat? He posted this in our chat at 1:39 p.m. So for me, that was like right before I woke up. I woke up late today.
Who Random King says he'll wait for your referral. Well, you
I
have Rock Metal's referral if you like. In the
Meta
meantime.
Explorers on Discord. Is that
Oh,
DNA said Hunter on Chain? That's not the same thing. Meta Explorers. Let me just Google and see what comes up. Meta Explorers Discord. 2 years ago? Does that
yeah,
sound right?
referrals.
A new Wax game with Crew Tunes?
It's Crew Tunes game, so it sounds right.
I think they're from like the
Oh, 2 years ago.
NFG. While the Dodo Care Center is still running, a new game is being built by Sigal Pixel in collaboration with the Superb CrewTunes team, Meta Explorers. This game will make use of your CrewTunes assets, following you to explore planets, find ores, and convert them into partner projects tokens. But some asteroids will also randomly crash into planets with bonuses. Launch April 2024. So, assuming that's out.
Oh shit.
But no, I haven't looked into this. I feel like a
I
Meta
haven't seen that one yet either.
Explorers.
That's cool though. It sounds like it's been in the works for a long time.
Do they not have like a Twitter? I'm not sure where you find information for that. I assume it'd be on like the Crew Tunes.
Yeah, all right. Does make sense.
Right? Yeah, I don't know. They're not advertising super good if it is out. Wait, our beta is officially open for all. There we go. Join our Discord to play. You just need one PFP or other Crew Tunes NFT. Is that the like squids? I think we might have bought some of those.
Is it? Let's see. Squids. They sound familiar. Why am I can't like put my
I
fucking
think it was
finger
like
on it right now.
on NFT Hive. They're like squid NFTs. Crew. The
Let's
squid was
see.
like
Apollo
the.
says not Apollo. Apo. Apothesis. I think that 7 is a T. Says he's a mod for Crouton, so if you have any questions, he can answer them. That's great. Let's see.
Thought it was
Is
for squids.
Are the squids? Are the, like I guess that's the question. Are the squids the PFPs that we need for this one?
Yeah, the Mr. Squid. Remember that?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I definitely have some of those.
A lot of different temples. Yeah, I remember we
Is
showed
PFP?
those off at on stream at some point. I'm not sure if the squid template is part of this collection. Might be something. I assume that's what they mean by you need a PFP to play. Not positive.
He's saying almost all Crouton NFTs work for the game,
Okay.
so could be any.
Sure if I have. I might have bought them and given them away at the. Can't remember.
That sounds
I do
like you.
remember buying the drop at some point.
I remember buying the drop too. I feel like I must have kept at least one or two.
Presumes. Well, good to know. That's a new thing on Wax. So there's Wax news. I was like, I wasn't sure if there's any new Wax
There we
news
go.
this week.
Wax Wednesdays cooking, you. Also, since the last time we streamed, we did finish our airdrop. So if you're a Neon Space collector, check your wallet for some woof that you would have gotten on Friday.
Yeah, I did.
You
Let
will
me see.
have
Let's pull up the web of airdrop.
yeah, we have look at this. The red butthole of airdrops.
I was thinking an eyeball, but butthole too.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna like a little telling here.
I think it was a RCKMTL was like we should make this into an NFT. I was like, that's a lot of lines if Paul's gonna like turn that into neon. That's like 3,000 individual lines, and I don't know if it's gonna translate. It does look kind of cool, but I don't know if
It
it's
does
cool
look
enough
pretty
to
cool.
like turn into. I guess it kind of looks neon already since it's like glowing red, but I don't know.
Maybe I can just make some fun thing happen with it. Let's see.
Yeah, I was like, literally anybody can turn this into an NFT, just maybe not under our collection. We don't really have like meme or like picture NFTs in our collection. Pretty much everything from the beginning has been some sort of neon adjacent
Yeah.
vaporwave thing. Are the
Yeah, I'm about to
PFPs
get
under
ready to
that
have.
collection hypothesis? Was I missing the template? Or is it because they have no template? Maybe that's why. Let's see if I can. I'm interested what. I swear I bought one of those squids back in the day.
Thought I did too.
I think I gave it away if my memory serves me correctly. What is it called? Crew Tunes. I feel like there's a possibility it was. Oh yeah, there they are, Mr. Squid. And yeah, there's no template. That's why I couldn't find it. I think. I think you said you can still mint them if you want a new one.
Oh, that's dope. I'm gonna type Mr. See my
This
Mr.
guy looks
Chummies.
wild. He's got a friggin' like tiger stripes. He's got a joint and some gambling chips. This guy parties. Top hat and an eye patch.
Nice.
What category is this under? Rarity PFP. Go the cheap. $1.73 is the cheapest one right now. Wonder how much it costs the mint.
Let's see. Do you have the link to the mint site?
I do not hypothesis my aim.
Hypothesis
Fluffy just hit
to
an
know where I can go
all-time
to
high.
mint it.
The woof don't stop.
Did it really? Damn. Well, everything's kind of taking shit lately. Wolf's still pumping, huh? Let's go. You'll love to see it.
I don't know. It says the all-time high was on June 9th.
Yeah, let's see if I'm
According
looking
to
on my
this
chart.
chart.
It looks like, yeah.
You're
it
probably
looks like
looking
we're a
on
little
Wax. It's
higher.
probably because Wax is taking a shit. An
Oh,
all-time high
yeah, in
versus
terms of
Wax, I
Wax.
believe, but the all-time high versus
In
the US
terms of
dollar.
dollars, we're like 18% below the US dollar all-time high, which is still not that far below it. That's like one good day.
Probably because this is up, and let's
Oh,
check Wax. Wax is down. That would
Oh,
make
here's
sense.
copy here. I can
Damn, Wax is under 4 cents again. What are you
look,
doing, Wax?
it's 55 Wax for the squid airdrops.
That's not bad.
Or for the mint if you want to mint a squid.
Especially with Wax being as cheap as it is.
Yeah, 55 Wax. And thanks for sharing the link there, and it's in the chat now. Let me see, how much would 55 Wax cost me? $55 Wax. $2.17. Not so bad. And you get the dice roll. See, there is. Okay, there's only 1,000 of these PFPs too, and it looks like almost 900 have been claimed. So, 100 left to go.
They got some Lewd Momoko collab situation. They got Comic Kings one,
Ooh.
Tales of the Crypto. Moonstones was that? I don't know what that. That's some sort of wax. Oh, I think that's the moon mining. I don't know if they're even still doing stuff. That would make sense because they were working with Agent K, who also is part of the NFG and Crutoons crew.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
All right, let's do this giveaway and then move on to some market analysis.
Let's do it. Oh, let's see. Let's see if I make it here last second.
Hey, I always forget to join with my grub. When I see you in there, I get jealous.
Got my red tail, my pink headphones. Ooh, that was close. Still going though. My grub wants that woof, that sweet woofy. Oh, he's dead. Red splatter all over the fucking ground. Alright, who's the last person to get sliced here? Oh, looks like the naked grubs are going to be taking the woof.
Chucky, congrats. Coming in hot.
Well played.
We can give you 1,000,000 woof. I do have to write up. We're supposed to like deliver to the woof team how we distributed our woof by the 30th. I'll do that later. Right.
Nice. Yeah. I feel like we did a pretty good job of getting it like distributed to a bunch of wallets.
That's worth
And
99 cents. That's pretty good. Million.
Especially getting it to people who like
It
people who
definitely was
collected
cool
our
seeing
stuff.
like the people who got the most are generally people who are always in our chat and like supporting us and stuff.
Yeah. I feel like that worked out real well. Whereas like, yeah, it definitely went to like our supporters and collectors most aggressively. So thanks for being those people. That was really fun to do that.
All right, let me
I'm
start a
excited
new
to do the next like
grubfish if
airdrop.
anyone wants to join, and I'm gonna flip over to where did you post the results of the capture? The airdrop? We didn't post like a single post with like all the wallets on it or anything. We didn't export them. I don't know if there's the ability to do that through Bounty Block, but you just have to check your wallet and see if you got an airdrop from us. If you really want to, you can go look through the airdrop.neon is the wallet that airdropped them to people. But I mean, I can show you. There's like 3,000 wallets. So I'm not going to go manually like retype all of those.
Yeah, but you can see all of the transactions on that wallet if you wanted to verify.
Yeah. Airdrop.
600 million wolf getting airdropped. And who it went to and how.
Here's all the transfers. I'll post that in the chat if you want to comb through our data.
Snoop it out, suss it out.
And the picture is just
if you go to the very beginning when we first start airdropping it, those are like the biggest amounts because we started with like the way that the airdrop worked was like it went to the people who got the most first.
The picture I show is just from this, and if you want the like, go to Woof token from EOS Authority. These are all the accounts we dropped to. Easy web.
There.
Can't read it if you zoom out, but if you like zoom in, you can go. Maybe you'll find your wallet.
Yeah, and then the thicker the line, the more woof they got airdropped is kind of the thought.
ES5W, my dad's wallet. There's KY, he got the most, 5 period.
Woo! How many woof did he get? Can you easily see it there or no?
No. In Wax Detective you can, but Wax doesn't. On this one you click it, like June got a big amount, 5 QTB. Baggy Hodler.
Oh, yeah. The homies are getting the thick lines.
SSURE.wham, that's 12.
Nice.
Want to go look for yours, you can. Probably just easier to open your wallet and see if you have woof in it, though. Want to see the results. Any wallets that hold any Neon Space NFTs got them. Like every single wallet holding a Neon Space NFTs. Have any of our
added
NFTs
a memo.
Have woof?
You can search for the memo if you don't want to like trudge through all your transactions. There's a memo. Airdrop memo.
Thank you for the raid, buns, bags, and caps. We are chilling.
Welcome.
We're giving away woof if you want to !neon in your Wax wallet.
Oh, I do want to.
And we're about to do some market analysis. We just got done looking at woof, kind of like teased. Not sure if it's going to actually happen that they might build a bridge to the TON, Telegram, or Telegram Open Network. What is the other one it's called? I always call it Telegram Open Network, but it's something else, right?
The Open Network?
The Open Network?
I think yes.
But yeah, it's like the Telegram blockchain, which is kind of blowing up right now. So that's cool. We don't know if it's 100% for sure happening, but it's They're kind of teasing that it might be next. And then we showed off RotaQuest as a clicker now on Telegram. I just got done with
Yeah.
my final run of Still Wakes the Deep. Heard of it? So good. Web 2 horror game. I'll Google it real quick. Still Wakes the. Yeah, if anybody
I don't know if I know that one.
hasn't visited us before, we are Neon Space. We're a collection on Wax. We are artists, but we also stream. And on Wednesdays we do like DeFi and market analysis stuff. So that's what we're gonna get into today. Tomorrow we do off the rails videos where we watch funny videos on like Facebook and Reddit and TikTok, and then Friday we play games. So depending on your interests, you might like one of our day's streams more than the other. So that's what's up. Full game, that's not necessarily what I want. We'll do the announcement trailer on Xbox. Horror games freak me out. I don't usually play them, but sometimes they're fun. I kind of like watching other people play horror games more than I like playing them myself.
Yeah, I like horror games.
Nice and foggy, so you know horror's gonna approach. Oh, you're like on a submarine or something?
Oh, it's like
Or a boat? Looks very like
Almost
next-gen
got, like-
graphics.
right, like Bioshock vibes almost.
Okay, sounds like monsters. Oh, you're on like a oil rig or something.
Okay, that's cool.
It's on the Game
That's
Pass.
very claustrophobic.
HP Lovecraftian horror. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Might not be cultured enough. HP Lovecraft, is he like a sci-fi writer?
It's like creature horror stuff, like
Oh.
the Mansions of Madness kind of. What? Let me think. H.P. Lovecraft is like Lovecraft Country was a show on HBO.
I never watched that one.
Almost like Cronenberg-esque creatures, like David Cronenberg style. Is like Lovecraft and Cronenberg and
He's
stuff.
known
At least in
best
my
for
mind, are
his
like
creation of the Chulu mythos. Cthulhu?
Cthulhu. Yeah,
I guess he invented that.
the was that like the ancient thing and
He did
from
Call of the
another dimension as
Cthulhu,
the
At the
Lord.
Mountains of Madness, The Shadow over Innsmouth, and The Shadow of Time. Yeah, I don't know any of those stories.
They make for really cool like tabletop games. They're like role playing games where it's basically like Dungeons and Dragons, but you get told like which character you are within the world of the game, and then the dungeon master is basically the game. Like the game tells you what to do and what like nobody has to act as the dungeon master. Or maybe somebody does play as like the dungeon master against everybody or something. I don't remember, but I remember them being fun and Lovecraft being pretty creepy horror stuff. Very creature centric. But yeah, let's look at this crypto chart now that we're moving here, pivoting, if you will. Last
I'll
week
grab
we
a
were
drink. I'll
looking
be right
at
back.
last week so this is the daily Bitcoin chart. I always like to start looking at Bitcoin before I go into anything else, because Bitcoin is basically like the you know the king of the crypto market, so everything follows Bitcoin. Last week we were looking at it and we were saying that like Bitcoin was starting to look maybe a little bit more bearish than stocks still looking bullish, but Bitcoin was starting to look a little bearish and crypto looking like it might drop off again. And you can see we've been watching this channel here where we deviated now and failed to like make a basically what we were looking at like last time we were looking at this is kind of like this McDonald's arch double top happening here, and that being like a bearish thing. So kind of like, oh, expecting the market to kind of pull back, and now we're pulling back, and you can see here is where we found a bounce like last time, decent support. So this is definitely the support now. This is also where we're bouncing at the moment, but yeah, definitely still very bearish on the daily chart. We've definitely played out a lot of that bearish sentiment in this last week. And then you can see here on our SRSI, we've been now very much oversold and probably on the daily chart looking for a bounce to move up a little bit here. And then what we want to see is obviously we want to see it make a higher high or retest these previous highs. But if we're going to stay like moving bearishly in the next few weeks or months, then it's likely to still retest up, form a lower high, and then continue down with a lower low after that. Either way, kind of running low on steam here on the daily chart. Zooming out further to the weekly, you can see a similar thing playing out where the weekly chart has now, pulled all the way back to our bull market strength band here, which is generally where we're expecting to find support. On the weekly chart, it's also a lot more clear. This green line had drawn out as like our bull market trend line. We're approaching that trend line as well. You can see this weekly candle, which is still not closed, for the next 4 days. But this weekly candle has already wicked down to our strength band support here. So likely, again, to do exactly what we're saying with the daily chart, likely to, find some support around here and then try to do a bounce. And then it'll be up to that bounce, is that because basically looking at this chart right here, we've kind of hit a peak here. Then we made we started pulling back and we made a lower high on the second jump up here. So this is where it first started feeling like, okay, maybe it's a good time to take profit and scale back out and whatnot. But then since having this lower high come in now, what we need to see for it to actually start feeling bearish about this would be a lower low, which we're not quite there yet. We're about at the same low, like it could be double bottoming here. But if we get a lower low, then we want to see another lower high and lower low and keep moving down in that kind of fashion. Likely a slow grind over the next few months if that's happening. But either way, that weekly and daily are suggesting a similar thing where it's like, we definitely we're looking bearish. We've played out the bearish move and we've reached a level where we could expect to see some support. And so in the next few days, I feel like it's likely we'll see, Bitcoin retesting, I would say 64, 65, and 60, maybe 7 as 67 as the top of it being starting a lower low. And so that's basically for my own trading positions, that's where at those exact levels, 64, 65, and 67. I have limit orders waiting to short sell Bitcoin. Again, since I've been short selling, obviously once we saw this and we were talking about it, obviously I took my own input and had opened shorts here, which have now been closed. So those actually went really fucking well. But again, I'm trying to see if we're still staying bearish here, which this has been starting to look more bearish. Like I said, didn't make a double top, kind of making lower highs. And then if we go to ETH, you can see it even more clearly because it's basically moving as a delta of Bitcoin. But here you can kind of see, very clearly did not make the same high as we did on this first one. We pulled back, made a lower high, and now we're pulling back. And then you'd expect to see kind of a similar, continuation of this pull back, continue making lower lows, lower highs kind of a thing. If we're going to continue down. So we haven't seen, obviously, a new lower low. We also are getting ETF trading for Ethereum, I think, starting in the next week or so, which that's a relatively big deal. That's, a new market, new money that can now access Ethereum. And we really haven't seen what the demand for those ETFs is just yet, since obviously the trading hasn't started yet. So you have that kind of good news on the horizon for ETH and crypto. And then also the SEC recently announced that they're dropping the investigation or lawsuit claims into Ethereum being a security. So we no longer have the looming threat of is it or is it not a security? The SEC basically fucked off and said it's not a security. So those are all positive things. But again, we can always see good news on good days and bad news on bad days. It's definitely worth though knowing that there is a lot of positive sentiment around these assets still, and obviously that we haven't made a lower low yet, and we absolutely could be not quite making a higher high, which that's again on the very first indication here why it's it feels like maybe we're pulling back, but we could very well have made a lower high, make a higher low, and then make a higher high, so that this could continue to play up bullishly. And if we actually look at the weekly time frame, which is where we should put most of the weight of our prediction. Like our prediction should be informed most heavily by the longer time frames, because those time frames tend to, be a lot less likely to take a fake out. But you can see on that time frame, we're still very much in the bullish side of the strength band of the trend line, and we still have a decent amount of room down, before even flipping the weekly to bearish, and then it really becomes kind of clear how much room down there is in a bull market when you look at this on a monthly time frame. So I'm gonna close out some of our trend lines here. Hey, come on, leave me alone. Let's hide that. But here's like the monthly chart for ETH. Let's look at Bitcoin. And you can see on the monthly chart, we're in the bullish side of this, and we have on the monthly chart room to the strength band, which would, still keep our bullish side sentiment here. But how much room that is, like here, let's say if we go to just here or something, that is still 18%, 20% ish lower. Like right here is 20%. So here, I'll mark it at 20. So here, even a 20% drop like that to this range would still be on the bullish side of our trend in the long term here. And so it is, like I was saying, over the next few months possible to get kind of like that grind down, which would eventually like cause our strength band to meet us around, like here, and then find support and push back up to make newer highs
Mocha's asking,
by the end of the year.
did say that again? What did they say wasn't a security? Just ETH or tokens or native tokens?
Just Ethereum specifically. They said they dropped this suit and investigation into Ethereum and said, okay, Ethereum isn't like, we're no longer like pursuing this like suit saying that Ethereum is a potential security. So that, and the fact that ETFs are now approved and the trading for ETFs is going to start, I think 2 weeks from now, maybe even 1 week from now. Time flies. So there's a lot of like positive events on the horizon still, and Ethereum and Bitcoin and stuff, have been looking a little bit like they're trying to sell off a little bit in the medium term here. But you can also see, like, here's the weekly chart for Bitcoin again. We have now done this kind of like golden arch McDonald's like pattern thing that we were talking about the last few weeks already. And now that we've found that's, playing out, and the strength index is also saying, we're becoming oversold on the weekly, while still closing those weekly candles above the strength band here, which signifies our bull market side support. This is all very bullish long term. It's just that in the short term, like in the past few days, like we've been watching already, we've been getting that pull back. And so now that it's played out, I think the next thing to happen, or to look for at least in the next week before we look at these charts again, is for this to kind of like, find its support here, around like 60,000, 61,000 or something for a Bitcoin. Yeah, 60,000, I'd say. So making sure that like these days are going to continue to close above that, and then seeing that kind of like in the coming week, push up again a little bit. And like I said, 64 to 67,000 being kind of like the range of the retest. And then if that retest fails to push beyond that range, I would then expect to see in the next few weeks for it to retest this same like lower level again, and then potentially lose it and like find another support. At which point it'll probably come down to here where we'd have a good amount of support again. But that's like 55, 54, 55 around here, which we also like have dipped down to already. And then if it doesn't do that kind of a pullback again, we can also get here, this would be the lower low here, right? Or the low at least. Then we have a lower high from the previous high. But now if we're making a higher low, then it's gonna kind of invalidate the bearishness of what this peak, lower low, lower high. If we're not making a lower low, then it's starting to send us mixed messages again. So in the coming week, I'm a little bit like cautious, especially with my own positions. Like I said, I've closed a lot of my short sells in profit now, and I'm waiting to basically reopen them on the retest, but I'm also willing to cut them at a loss if the retest continues to push after they're open. So, we, gonna have to keep an eye on how that's gonna play out. But then let's look at Wax, and Wax has had a pretty devastating week in the last few weeks already, where we lost our here. We've been tracking on Wax our ranges, and once those lost, that's when we got this like huge drop. Here it is. So you can see these are the ranges that we've been tracking for like over a year at this point. These coming down here, this yellow line to this red line was basically like the width of the entire 2-year range, and then basically this red line range was what we were looking to be inside of, and we were inside of for quite a while before deviating above here and testing the very top of our range, which we actually wicked above but never actually were able to hold. And then when we fell back, you can see pretty much each time one of these ranges hit our support, we slowed the sell off. Like here, dropped all the way to support, found it, bounced, couldn't flip this back to support, so it became resistance. Back to our support, bounced, tried it again, bounce, and then the third or final time here we kind of like chopped. And back when we were watching this, we were also looking at this trend line, and so you could see it was kind of trying to save its trend line, but the second it lost that, it kind of like then it started going into this free dive, and even the like bottom range here didn't hold very long. You can see on that very first drop, this candle went all the way to that. It wicked all the way to that first level down. And then, was rebought back up, and people like slowly grinded it down to here. And then once we lost this support, boom, another huge drop. And then that purple line was actually the bottom of our bear market from last time, right here where we did that huge drop. And then, since then we've dropped a little further off than that still, but man, we're retesting those previous bear market levels now. So Wax looking very like aggressively sold down to previous like long time like holding supports. You can see this purple line has held almost every time it's been tested. Maybe it deviated for a few weeks here, but it did eventually like hold that line again and push us up. And that's again kind of where we are now. It's not to say that we're guaranteed to hold and push back up, but we have experienced multiple weeks of selling pressure here, and when you have a like a 40% sell off happening in like 2 weeks or 3 weeks, there is also obviously the counter side pressure on the other end of that. And so I would also expect to see a retest of, at the very least, our strength band, which you can see actually is going to be that red line here, the bottom of our previous range. So it's very likely we see Wax pushing back up to retest around 5 cents, just below 5 cents. If we can't reclaim 5 cents and move above it and turn this into support, then it'll be okay. We'll then be ranging in this range that we're in right now between 4 and 5 cents. Basically likely to retest the bottom, bounce back up, and try again. Hopefully, unless if Bitcoin does start to do its dump off and sell and move into a bearish market, then I would say it's more likely that the retests of the lower levels of these supports aren't successfully held. But for now, Wax does look like it's finished doing its pretty intense sell off, and it's likely to range, maybe not like pump super aggressively, but also less likely to drop super aggressively on the tail end of a 40% sell off. With all that in mind, let's take a look at Alcor. So, jumping to Alcor, I'm going to go
Prince
into our
Paradox
tools.
was asking, does that mean insider trades? I don't know in what context that was to exactly. That was a couple minutes ago.
Oh,
Something on the chart maybe indicate insiding trades.
There's definitely like news that like basically big institutional players buying inflow and outflow coverage for for ETFs that are going live, that have an insider advantage in the sense that like they can anticipate what the what the demand for that product is going to be, and then buy those units of Ethereum today before the demand even exists in anticipation, and then kind of like pocket the difference. And that's definitely an insider angle that I imagine is absolutely being exploited. Like who the fuck wouldn't do that if you had, like, if that was your business, was to sell paper Ethereum to people while holding real Ethereum in your wallets? Why not sell them the paper Ethereum at a slight premium to what you paid for it? And it's obviously well regulated, but there's also, you know, like a percentage of a bolster or like whatever buffer that you're allotted as an institution holding the counterpart to an ETF, and that's kind of where that activity will live. So it's definitely, I would consider it insider trading, but it's relatively well regulated and limited to, like, you know, not the full stack of money that's involved in those trades. But it's hard for me to imagine that that doesn't get exploited to at least some degree. I mean, if you have a money printer, you'd probably use it, right? I would. But yeah, let's look at Wax and our Wax DeFi position from last week. So last week we went into Wax Booty, or we stayed in Wax Booty Wax, and in Wax and Woofy. And both of these pools are paying APR through the farms. We started this pool here, I think, with 50 Wax, like 100 on both sides. And so you can see it's been hovering pretty close to that price. It looks like Wax Booty is not really losing us a lot of our position in Wax. It's no longer going up. I think last week when we were here, it was 51 on the Wax side. So Wax Booty seems to have sold off a little bit since then. But if we go and take a look at what the Wax Booty farm is producing, that might be enough to clear our woes here. So if I mouse over this, it looks like I've made 300 and almost 50,000 woof from this past week. If I toggle this to my staked only, I can see where that woof comes from. It's these two farms, and we can see here 113,000 of that is coming from Wax Woof liquidity rewards, which is 28% on the Wax Wolf position we have. And then the other 235,000 is coming from our Wax Booty Wax farm paid in Woof. And so you can see here, the APR here is still almost 300%. The runway is still very good, and we're basically holding flat, which isn't terrible. Let's take a look at the Wax Booty chart. Wax Booty. So we're expecting to see it have sold off a little bit over the last week, which, yeah, there we go. So that's the 4 hours. So if I go to the daily, we'll see. Yeah, there you go. This last week, it's definitely sold off a bit. Although this chart is still pretty bullish. I mean, there's not a whole lot of data here to go off of, but you can see, I guess what I'm seeing here is if we're launching this token right at this price here, and then we found our pump here, and then our blow off, I guess, pump above our launch price. And now that we've fallen back from that initial hype pump, you can see it's starting to form like a what looks like a bounce or a bottom here on this chart. It's, like I said, it's too early to say all that for sure, but you can see it's starting to form that above where it launched on this chart, which is generally relatively bullish. But yeah, man, this chart is not long enough to make real TA calls off of. I am, however, going to, I think, hold on to our position because 300% is giving us 235 woof, which if we swap that into wax, I can take a look, because we're basically down, let's say, 2 wax this week from the liquidity pool, because last week it was 80, or it was 51 on the wax side. This week it's 49. So 235,000 wax or woof would get us back 11 wax. So we're well in the green still with our farm there. And with the chart not necessarily looking bearish, basically the majority of that sell-off already having happened, it seems, I think I'm pretty confident to stick in both these pools, considering they both have decent runways. They're both still paying pretty well. And Woof is, you know, and teasing us with a potential new bridge to Ton or Tone. I'm not sure how we say that. I've been saying Ton. but I guess it might be tone just because like the big dex on it is S tone, which is like stone. If it's tone, but whatever.
It'd also
Either
be
way,
ton.
ton, yeah, stun, yeah, it could be ton. Don sounds weird though, so ton might be weird. I don't know. Either way, um, with all that like news, I still like my exposure to Woofy, and so I think what I want to do this week is start by claiming all the rewards from the Woofy farms that we've made, but leaving the rest of the stake there, just kind of like chilling, because there we go, we got it all. Because this is working for me. Like these are nice, relatively stable in terms of wax. With wax being on its floor right now, I don't really want to sell the wax side of this anyway. So and then same here with my Woof, where it's like Woof has like nice prospects coming up for this week. And you know, if Woof continues to just hold and wax keeps dumping, well, that's okay too, because if we go to my farm or my pool here, my pool will continue to get deeper and deeper in wax. And again, our goal with this wallet is to make more wax. So that's great. You can see already since we started this pool, the wax side has grown to 270 wax. So this pool, because its range is 0 to infinity here, so this pool you could consider it being basically 540 wax worth of depth just on its own. And for a wallet that started with just 100 wax, having a now one of the liquidity positions be over 500 wax while their second liquidity position is still 100 wax too, we've done very well on our objective here of earning more wax. So I feel like these pools are going to do the trick the coming week, but I do want to do something with the Woofy we got, and what I want to do is compound it into, and I want to maybe say let's compound it into the wax booty wax pool. Yeah, let's do that. Because the APR here is just so much higher. Or, you know, let's do something even more aggressive this week. Let's look for some absurd APR pool and see how it does. And we'll farm it exclusively with our rewards so that there is no potential loss risk from our existing exposed positions. But let's see if there is something that's super excitingly high, then let's just like wing it and see,
Can you
like
sort
without
by
doing any
APR?
research. I wish you could. I feel like you can click this, but I don't know if it like actually.
You're gonna want the other side. It's not 0. That doesn't seem to work.
Not so well. Daily rewards. No, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, the APR sort never worked that well. Oh, but this is crazy high.
Tools/woof. I've never even heard of tools. Oh, it's the stonker stuff.
Okay, 2000% though is. Let's see if we can do better. Although that's crazy high.
I think that's gonna be your winner.
Yeah, let's just go with that one. Okay, so check this out. It wants Stonker and Woof, so that's great because we already have Woof. And so we'll only have to use 50% of our Woof, and it was called Tools. And so I'm going to take 50% of the Woof that we earned this week, which was, it looks like 600,000. Wow. So we're going to end up with 300,000 Woof on the Woof side, and we're going to get some of these Tools token for the Tools side. There we go. And now I'm curious to see if we're going to be able to get back 600,000 Woof in the week. So let's try it. I'm just going to remember this as 03. So 0.03, there it is. I'm just going to do infinite range because, yeah, this pool is very wide. Oh, and look at this. It doesn't even need all my Woof.
Did it do
So
75%
I'll just
though?
leave.
Or did you do max?
Oh, did I? Oh, you're right. That's what it is. Boom. Good catch. 302. So I actually need to toggle it like that. Bam. Okay. Let's see. So we've added all the rewards from this week into a pool that maybe we wouldn't have put our actual like hard-earned wax into, but this was the rewards, and this is a nice, ridiculously high range pool. So now if I look at the farm, curious to see. So we started with 600,000 woof, which would have been our rewards from this week, but now we've staked it, and we're expecting to get kickback 34,000 woof per day, which 34,000 times 7 days this week should see us getting back 235 or 38,000 woof by this time next week, if this can hold up like that. And so we have a pretty good margin
how
to
fast you're earning
lose
that
quite
woof.
a bit. Yeah. And this is all from the woof we earned this week. So we'll see. This is much more gambly and much more high risk than what I would feel comfortable maybe throwing like wax that I've been like, trading hard for, or I've been like doing selling NFTs or whatever, like however I've earned my wax that I feel like I worked for it. When it's just a rewards like this and the APR is this high, I'm willing to throw the like whatever 600,000 woof at something like this. Maybe for example, if you won the grubfish giveaway today, this might be a fun thing to try to do with it, where it's a million woof and it's like, okay, let's see if it's still a million woof in a week. Like, being prepared, of course, for it to lose me my woof and my
You're supposed to be
value,
making
but we'll have to see.
35,000 a day.
Yeah, so this is quite a bit still. Like that's not bad considering I started with 600,000 woof. This is a lot. And so within what is that? Within like 3 weeks, I would be able to get back 100% of my principal if this lasts for 3 weeks. And it looks like we got 90 days of runway on this farm, so there is a prospect of it lasting that long.
I don't know
I'm
the
willing to roll the dice.
distribution of the
This works
tools
out.
token, but I mean,
I
that's
have
from
no
NFT
idea.
Stonkers. They're at least like a legitimate brand
They've
that's
been
been
around.
around for 3 or 4 years. There's not like shithead scammers that are probably going to just dump the token on you. But I
That's
don't
why I
know
was
how they
also a little
distribute
bit more
tool.
willing to. When I saw it was a Stonkers thing, I was like, okay, cool. Like I've heard of that name around like for the last 3 years or so. Like that's enough for me to be like, let's make a swing on this nonsense.
Manu just ran
Again, I
for
still expect this to be
like head
poorly.
of Stonkers just ran for OIG. He lost, but he was like in the running for Wax Inspector General.
That's great. I mean, he's involved with the stuff at least. So, and it looks like 800 million wolf is a pretty big like payout here. So
Got to be
I don't
most
know.
of their,
Fun.
or maybe all of their 1 billion. I don't know how long. I guess 90 days. That's probably made today. There's a 90-day remaining time.
Right? Yeah, I guess that's true.
Probably super early.
But yeah, this kind of thing is kind of fun. So it's like I see a high APR. It seems like I'm aping into this early. It seems like a token that I at least have some notion isn't a total shit nonsense coin. Although, take that at a grain of salt. And then it was all rewards. So it's nice to see. I've already made 72 woof just with like rewards that I put to work. And it's possible also that this attracts more people to jump in later on in the week, and the APR starts to come down, but the tools price in terms of woof maybe increases, and then I still end up with more than my 600,000 at this time next week. We'll have to take a look. But for this week, I think that's all I want to do. I'm gonna keep our wax woof farm cooking. I'm gonna keep our wax booty wax farm cooking, and those are all cooking on woof rewards. And then we're taking our woof rewards from this week, and we split half of them into this tools token, which we admittedly don't know much about and don't outright endorse or anything. It's just for a fun experiment for the week, and we're gonna farm that token at an infinite range to earn this ridiculous APR. So we'll have to see how all this plays out next week. And we are looking for the charts, in Bitcoin and ETH and stuff to kind of have finished the bulk of their sell-off move before this retest. So maybe we get a quick retest and then continue a sell-off. But either way, I am expecting opportunity here to like reopen my shorts at the very least.
Yellow!
We'll see. We'll see. The limit orders are set.
Didn't know how long that soundbite was going to be. I thought it was going to be a quick YOLO, but that was a long YOLO.
YOLO!
That's a
But
pretty
yeah,
good
there we
soundbite.
go. I feel like let's keep an eye. I mean, if you're more interested in like uh actively monitoring the stock, the like price action and stuff, like just pop into Discord too. I'm usually like paying attention, and I'll make some. I'll share some posts when I'm winning trades again. Here I can.
Give me a hell yeah!
I do an awful lot of trading on my
Flipped
Wayne
over
wallets here.
our grubfish. And I'm
Yeah,
gonna
it
do
looks
our
like
next giveaway.
in the last 30 days on Arbitrum, I did 1.747 million dollars worth of trading. That's a lot. That's a lot of trading.
Says you redeemed
Well,
Wasso.
that's
Why don't I hear? Oh, there it is. What's up?
there it is.
All right.
All
This
that with
giveaway.
39 trades.
And then I have some wax adjacent news that's actually pretty bad news.
Oh,
It's EOS news, but EOS is
that's adjacent enough, I think. What's up? What's up? What's up? Look at my red trail, dude. Beautiful.
oh, you just dodged it.
Whew, almost got red splatted.
Autumn's Toys is almost like the same getup as you, besides the trail. They also have pink headphones
True.
and green.
I have a spare red trail I could send you, Autumn's Toys, if you're trying to look like your boy.
Ooh, yep.
Represent. Oh
Cut down.
shit! I just got splatted.
Looks like
You're
blood.
trying to represent the pink, red, green one. Although you'd have to send it back to me at some point. Those are super rare.
Oh no, Autumn's Toys couldn't handle the heat. Oh! Random King is our winner. Pew, 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 pew.
You gonna try that? You gonna try that insane farm? We'll have to see. It
Yes.
looks like I've already made 180 woof in that farm.
The farm is cooking.
Yeah, 2,000% APR is nuts. That's crazy high. Sometimes I get lucky and I find APRs like that on like places where they can actually afford to pay it for like big positions, and I'll put like, like $20,000 or $30,000 into a pool that's paying something like that, and it pays you like hundreds of dollars an hour. It's crazy. But usually those opportunities are gone in like a matter of hours.
All right, next form is open. Exclamation point neon if you'd like to join. Yeah, this is news from Tether. It's not very good news for Wax or EOS, but it said Tether announced a strategic transition to prioritize community-driven blockchain support.
Okay. Doesn't sound so
Go
bad
back and
just
read
yet.
through, but the news that affects us is the transition will proceed as follows. Tether will stop minting USDT on EOS and Algorand starting today, June 24th, 2024. Tether will continue to redeem USDT on EOS and Algorand as usual for the next 12 months. Further changes may be evaluated and announced around that time. So there's a chance that Tether
Ooh.
won't exist on EOS 1 year from today, or from 2 days ago.
Fuck, that is bad news because Tether is also the main stablecoin on Wax. Although we have bridges into into ETH, so it's okay.
Yeah, but the ETH bridge kind of sucks. I feel like Base would be the
ETH
next.
fucking blows nuts, dude.
But
yeah.
even that,
I
then
feel
that'd
like
be
if,
double bridged if you had to do like ETH from Base into. At that point, I feel like you should just do USDC because USDC is at least native over on Base. Like do a USDC.
I also prefer USDC over USDT whenever I can choose between the two.
Yeah, that's the one that like has the most liquidity and is done by Alcor, who's
Yeah.
also an EOS. Like, they run and maintain the bridge for that, so I don't know if they'd be willing to put in the money for, like, a base bridge when they're not the ones that run the base bridge. And also, I don't know if they have the tech to
Yeah.
make a base bridge because they're on EOS, so it's easy for them to move from EOS to Wax. I guess, like,
there's probably DAI is on EOS, isn't it? That's like a native, like
I don't know.
decentralized
Is
stablecoin.
DAI native to? It's on the Ethereum blockchain. It doesn't say anything about EOS.
Okay, it's only Ethereum native, huh?
Let me read the whole
I
thing,
wonder
though.
if FAR.
That's the highlight,
let's
which
see.
was
I
not
wonder-
great. There's also a chance, I
Oof,
guess,
that's
that
bad,
like
yeah.
in 12 months they'll still allow you to redeem it and it won't lose peg, but you can't mint any new
Right.
ones. All right, let me read this. Tether announced a strategic transition. At Tether, we're deeply committed to maintaining a robust and innovative blockchain ecosystem for USDT and all other tokens we issue. To uphold this commitment, we constantly assess current transport layers, striving to strike a balance between maintainability, usage, and community interest. Community interest plays a pivotal role when we bring USDT to specific blockchains. We carefully evaluate the network's security architecture to ensure the safety, usability, and sustainability of the chosen blockchain. Our goal is to allocate resources where they can best enhance security and efficiency while continuing to support innovation across the crypto landscape. After thorough consideration, Tether will continue support for EOS and Algorand implementations. We will continue to support the protocols and chains that the community finds useful, encourage the community to expand the use cases UST on every protocol. Basically, they're just saying the fucking community doesn't give a shit about EOS.
That's not good news for Algorand either. Like, I know they have a lot of fanboys, but oof.
I think I saw here that it was like, according to Tether's website, there's roughly 113 billion USDT currently in circulation, distributed across 16 different blockchains. The vast majority of USDT is just on two chains, with 59 billion on Tron and 52 billion on Ethereum. On Algorand, there's just 85 million of USDT, or only 0.008% of the supply. On EOS, there's just 17 million, or 0.015% of the total supply.
Jeez, that's fucking nothing.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of makes sense. Or like, why are we running a whole bridge and shit, which probably costs them resources when basically no one's using it? $17 million is still
Even
a lot for a person, but not for like
for a person, sure, but yeah, no, that's nothing for a bridge or for an entire blockchain. That's nuts.
Yeah, I don't know. That's not good for Wax DeFi.
No. Wax DeFi takes another blow. Well, it's a blow with a 12-month like signaling. It's coming.
Yeah, it also they could in 12 months be like, yeah, we're still just going to keep redeeming it indefinitely. So it's not like you have to get out of it.
Right.
There is also a chance where they're like, hey, you now have a 6-week window. If you don't redeem it, this becomes a fucking monopoly money. And that case, that will be very bad. But as long as they're redeeming it, the bridge is cheap enough to use to get over to EOS that like it shouldn't lose peg. There's no reason to like panic at the moment, but it's not good news that they're starting to cut ties with it.
No, that's bad news. I would prefer to hear something better. It's also possible that within the next 12 months some like more Wax native stablecoin project launches, but who knows?
Or that EOS picks up traction and they decide to go back, but I think EOS is in a pretty bad spot like Wax right now, which probably is also contributes to the Wax prices. Like the whole EOS ecosystem is not really doing very well. Didn't you say they had like a big hack recently where like
I mean DeFi Box got it like hacked for $20 million or something.
That's more than the entire amount of USDT on the chain.
It's not good.
Yeah, kind of a bummer.
Also like barely affected their token. It was crazy. Like nobody gave a shit that it got hacked. It was like, damn, nobody's even paying attention on this chain anymore. Like if any blockchain like protocol gets hacked, the fucking token behind it usually takes like a 50% hit. DeFi Box took like a 5% hit, which is just like that's like a normal bad day.
But I think, I don't know. I've sort of been pitching for a long time that like Wax's strong point is not DeFi and not what they should be focusing on. And I feel like this guy just twist your arm and be like, hey, like you shouldn't be trying to make Wax a DeFi chain because one, we didn't have stablecoin liquidity for years.
Yeah. I honestly feel like the move is for the Wax team to like basically unwind whatever like the Ethereum side of the DeFi project is remaining still, and then take that money and like the treasury reserve, because they have like $1 million in USDT and $1 million in USDC and DAI and all that shit. So it's like use that money to put up the liquidity on the Wax blockchain instead, and then like people can still trade NFTs and focus on what's good and still have access to that shit, and maybe they put it up. I think it's crazy that like the majority of the on-chain liquidity on Wax is put up by the community. It's like, well, where's the project funding, like the treasury money or something like that? Like, why is it all on Ethereum? At least split it a little bit.
I'm gonna
But
send Lucas a message.
I don't know. It's hard to say how it goes, but I do feel like that was something I thought a couple times when I'd see people like talking about like Wax dev stuff in the chat where they're like, oh, like I don't know, like they were talking about like when the Wax when Alcor made the USDT bridge, they're like, oh, well, there's already like bridge stuff. Like I don't know why people would be excited about this. And it's just like, if you like, then I don't know, like because it's actually usable, And they're like, oh, so is this other thing? It's just like, yeah, but there's no liquidity. And they were like, yeah, but like anyone can bring in the liquidity. It's like, then why doesn't the fucking team who's charging everybody else 1% to use their bridge, why don't they put up some fucking liquidity? And like I think the answer was like, oh, they don't trust like the open source like or like the contracts or something on like the dexes and shit. It's just like, then how do they expect other people to trust it? I don't know. That's crazy. So I don't know. Maybe if they lead by example, more people would follow by adding more liquidity depth to stuff. If there was like, a few $100,000 or a couple $1 million added by like the project on their own blockchain in their own ecosystem. I don't think it's too much to ask, but maybe I'm wrong. This will kill so many things, I feel like. Yeah. Like no tether is a big deal. Although like I said, there is Wax, like there is ETH tether on Wax. Although there's maybe like $2,000 worth of liquidity. At least I'm curious. There was $17 million total tether liquidity, right?
According to that article, I don't know how accurate it is.
I wonder how much of that is in the Wax tether pool. Okay, I mean, $33,000.
I'm gonna send Zuler this message too. Like, would Alcor consider doing USDC from?
I would love to have like a layer 2 bridge into Alcor. I would totally use like wrapped ETH, wrapped Bitcoin, wrapped fucking USDC. And I'd love to see like projects like, I don't know, like a perpetual future contract market or something like that. Maybe even a money market would be cool. Just something like Tranquil would be great. Something like, I guess that's just Compound. Something like Compound would be fucking awesome.
All right, I sent Lucas, CTO of Wax, and Zuler, representative of Alcor, a message suggesting like if there's a way you can get USDC from Base. I think that's like the best move for making like of current bridges that somewhat exist to trying to like, or at least like the smart contracts and shit exist for it. It's currently for Wolf, but if you could also bridge,
right, add in the base like
USDC.
native USDC into that same contract and do that.
And I don't know, maybe they can work together. If the Wax team doesn't want to put up the money, maybe Alcor can put the money they had into EOS into that and put up the liquidity to start it off. But I don't know.
Right. It's not that much liquidity either. It's only like
I don't know if that makes it
$60,000 or
functional
something.
though. Like you can trade into USDT pretty easily on Wax now, but I don't know.
That is true.
Those are the people I know that are in power to do that. So I just sent messages to the only people I know, like, hey, this is a strategy that
About as
I
good
think
as
would
it can
be
get.
practical and you could do, but I can't force them to do it. I just give them my opinion and move on.
Yeah.
I wish I had contact with the Alcor dev directly.
Yeah, that would be nice.
It is interesting. He seems to like only contact you to like contact him through Zooler. I'm also not sure like
Yeah.
how active he is when Zooler hits him up, because I don't know if it's like every time I hit up Zooler, Zooler's also hitting up this guy and the guy just never fucking replies, or if like Zooler is dropping the ball. Like I don't know where in the line of communication it gets dropped, but it takes us quite some time to get a message through.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a bummer. Bummer of news for today. US is really looking in bad shape, which I think also reflects on Wax, because Wax is like the US
Yeah, it's
spawn.
yeah, it's running on the same like blockchain IO. Oh, I guess you can contact him on Telegram, the dev. Piga is saying in the chat.
And if you have his contact info,
I'm interested
I would
in
love to be
like
forwarded that. Right
asking
now,
him
we're
if
just trying to work
like
through Zooler, and again, it's not the most direct route.
yeah, I'd be interested to like share some ideas at least. I use the chain often. He seems online pretty much every day, just a few hours to like
Avril.
AVR
If you don't
Avril.
mind either like DMing Max or I, or posting in our Discord, that would be.
Yeah, I'd be into that. Forward it on to you.
I appreciate it. Yeah, we definitely have a lot of opinions and ideas. Whether or not they'll implement them is one thing, but just putting them out there, I think, is like the best we can do as people who use this, are active in this space very frequently. Be like, hey, this is what we would like to see happen and how we think you could realistically implement it. But we'll see. I would actually prefer if we had some sort of USDC than
Me too.
USDT. I like a USDC better as a token, but it made sense to use USDT because it's native on EOS, which bridge. If that goes away, then it's like, I don't know if we want to make Ethereum USDT the next thing. The fucking Ethereum bridge just sucks, to be frank. It's way too expensive to use for really anything. Doesn't it take a
A one
percentage when you
percent,
transfer stuff?
1%, 1% is so fucking much for stable coins. Like what the fuck? 1%. I pay like 0.3% for like volatile token swaps. Like what am I paying 1% to bridge stable coins from one chain to another? It's crazy. I don't know if they're still charging that, but if they are, like, that's why no one's using it.
I mean, not
Like,
just that, but like the gas fees over on Ethereum. It's like you can't. That's why people weren't that plus the 1%. But it's like makes it very hard to like arbitrage when you're burning all of the small amounts that get traded on Wax over in gas fees. So like
yep.
combination of those things, but Base kind of fixes those problems. So
Yeah,
we'll
that too.
see. I'm interested to see what Lucas says. Lucas is usually pretty like receptive and actually reads my messages. See what he thinks. But they also, as you were saying, we interviewed him and asked him like why they wouldn't put up liquidity, and are pretty like not proactive in doing that in the first place. So that's why I think like
Yeah.
if you can somehow convince Alcor to shake hands with the Wax team, like Alcor is like, yeah, we'll move everything we had in the USDT into USDC if you build the bridge. I feel like that could be
Yeah,
a
right.
working compromise, but
And then the wax team can help incentivize those pools too and draw some liquidity over. Do like a planned thing to bring stablecoins to Wax, and then I feel like it would do well. People want that stuff, so I don't know. Would be nice.
yeah, it'd be cool.
I
I
just
also
remember
don't
like a
know how
big
hard it
part
is
of
to do
like
that.
reading the document and stuff about like their plan to do that was always like, oh, it'll be community driven, which is like you have to put a foundation down for people to do stuff. Communities aren't going to build the foundation and then build on top of it. Like you need to put the foundation down, which is, first money.
I still think
But
Ethereum is just a bad option
yeah,
for like.
especially these days when like stablecoins are native to layer 2 chains, which doesn't involve these like honeypot risks that would have been involved in like moving like an Ethereum wrapped token from like Polygon over. But honestly,
Yeah,
even that I'm okay with.
which would be like USDT on base, right? Isn't USDT on base wrapped, or is it also native there?
Yeah, USDT on base is not
Yeah, that's
native.
why I think like
This
USDC
last I
would be the
checked.
move. We'll see. I don't know.
USDC on base, there's non-native USDCs as well, like USDC
The USDCB or
like
whatever.
BC and
I don't understand
USDC.E.
why that
Those
isn't
are like
just fucking. Why don't they just get rid of that? Like that makes no sense to me. There's a native USDC, and it's like, hey, why don't you instead hold this shit that's bridged that just has a huge like increase of risk?
right? Although it is really fucking nice to be able to pair in a LP USDC with USDC.E and then earn farming fees or swap fees on like what is effectively just USDC
I just
token.
don't get like why not put all the liquidity in one token instead of having the bridge one doesn't make sense to me. Logistically
Yeah, I
speaking, like, it
guess.
made sense before they had the native token, but now that there is the native token,
It's
they should just be like, hey, like
now it's
redeem
like
this
a
shit.
legacy. Yeah. It's a big part of it is cuz like it takes a long time to phase it out because it's like token contract is part of other smart contracts. And so other contracts are still internally using USD dot like C.E because that's how they were written, and not every smart contract that gets deployed is rewritable or editable. So some of them are, you'd have to basically migrate your entire DeFi platform to like a V2 of that same platform in order to phase out USDC.E. And an easier option is just to let every like real person use native USDC, but also keep a USDC.E like pool and like liquidity depth available so that like what is it called, like under the hood it can still be used by DeFi projects and DeFi deployed contracts that can't be edited and therefore would break if you phased it out entirely, which kind of sucks because some of those contracts, people like lock their term stuff up for years and then like, oh, you like, so you now, I feel like at the fastest you could phase out a token would be like 5 or 6 years because most locks will expire after 4. But either way, I get why they don't phase it out. It is very annoying though to have like different USDC coins everywhere, especially when I'm using like I have native USDC and I go use an app and then the app wants USDC.E and I'm like, what the fuck? Like USDC's been native for like months. Update your shit.
I feel at the very least, I feel like they should not be incentivizing the old one, incentivize the new one, and
Yeah.
get people to move over instead of like dragging this shit out, giving people rewards for not. I feel like they should definitely still like accept the old one, but I feel like they could do the thing where it's like we're not going to mint new of this old one. Like you can still use it and you can still bridge it
Yeah.
back indefinitely, but all the new shit's going to be on the new one, and that would kind of force people to switch over. But probably easier said
Yeah.
than done.
Yeah. Probably. It's definitely a huge pain in the ass because it's a decentralized system. So like
Yeah.
it's not like somebody has authority and can be like, hey, we're all changing everything over. you know, like even if 99.9% of the people agree, if like somebody isn't, then it's just like, well, I don't know, you can't like get rid of it entirely because they're still holding it. But yeah, I'm very excited to see though what comes of the like tether removal. I do feel like that definitely like creates a new demand on the Wax team to like fill that void now, and I'm curious to see how they do,
The
like how
thing
they
that I'm
rise to
saying
the
though is they didn't
occasion.
fill the void in the first place. That was the Alcor team.
Yeah, that's true.
So like there was no usable stable liquidity until Alcor bridged over from EOS and put up the initial liquidity. So it's like that demand was there before and they just didn't choose to address it. So what changes besides seeing that people were using USDT, I guess. But I don't know. We'll see. I am curious to see what Lucas replies back. If I'm sure this has to be on the radar. If they, there's no way I heard about this before the team did, right? Like, it did happen 2 days ago. Pretty new, but
Yeah, damn.
got that hot
Interesting.
news here at Neon Space.
Yeah, it's Wax Wednesday, baby. We know it's hot on the pulse, finger on the pulse.
That's pretty much everything I wanted to go over today. I don't really have anything else.
That yeah, I mean we got our DeFi positions moved. We looked at the market, which looks like it has shaken out the worst of it, and it probably wants to retest. Yeah, and then we did went over the Woofy news with a hint at the Ton chain airdrop. Sorry, bridge, not airdrop. No
Yeah,
airdrops
which I
announced
don't know.
yet.
I don't know how much news that is, as much as they just tag the Ton chain in a tweet. It could mean anything. It could mean nothing. At least feels
It's
like it could mean something. People have been speculating in the Discord, which is what I posted about. People also
it's a fun
like to speculate about
it's a fun
stuff.
speculation. Yeah, it's a fun one to speculate on. And
It also
then
kind of burning people though. Like I don't know, like the new Counter Strike update. People are speculating on it. They're like they thought it was gonna be a new operation, which means like new skins, a bunch of new stuff in addition to new maps. The community was like speculating so hard on it that when they released a bunch of new maps, it was a huge disappointment to the community because everybody thought it was gonna be more, but they never announced anything about it. It was like all just fucking like ran away from community speculation based on like the Counter Strike team replying to a tweet from a map maker. They just like they posted a meme and all of that meme led to like fucking the entire community being like, "There's for sure confirmed a new operation. Like it's gonna be this, 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 and this," and like everybody thought for sure it's happening. And I don't know. It's like I feel like it's dangerous to bring the hopes up of people, but they did do a little
true,
more than
yeah.
post like a vague meme. They directly tagged the Ton blockchain, so I feel like we'll see.
That's true. We'll have to see. I don't know. They do strike me as a team that's capable of landing a partnership like that and creating a bridge like that. I think would also be a pretty big step again, because the Ton blockchain doesn't really have a bridge connection into base layer 2 or into Solana or into Wax, and so that really opens up like an avenue to move like in DeFi, from Ton or to Ton, which is really cool.
Piga says the new EU stablecoin regulation laws also hit USDT especially hard. That's getting removed a bit over on this side. I'm curious if USDC won't be hit by the same type of political issues too. Euro-based stablecoins have badly failed to gain traction, and now USDT or US-based stablecoins are the standard for most exchanges out there.
Yeah, that's definitely such a win for the United States that the dollar became the standard in international trading on crypto markets. I hope that the United States doesn't like fuck that up by regulating it in an unfavorable way.
I do feel like USDT has always been a little sketchy compared to USDC, though, where like USDT's always sort of been like, yeah, we got what we have. We're not going to show it to you, but we have it. Just trust us.
Yeah, I'm honestly like I would be not that surprised if it like eventually collapsed, but I honestly would also not be that surprised if it never collapsed and it just like forever like Tether was just like, yeah, it's like shady dollars, but it's worth like 99.8 cents. So, whatever. Like,
People have been saying
I
Tether's
don't
going to
know.
collapse for like 7 years now. Like, I don't know. It's like,
Yeah, I've heard that for so long, and then I've seen like a decent amount of like, audit like documentation from Tether that like sure it's from them, but it's like they have a lot of money. Um and they have like legal attestation to owning that money, which is I don't know, like as far as like being certain that like something is backed, like I don't know. Tether's not like the top of my list for stablecoins I'm holding, but it's also new. I hold a lot of crypto that's exposed to Tether. If Tether were like to fall, there's a lot of shit I would lose money on. And I'm not convinced that it's completely insolvent. But,
only
we'll
time
see
will
how it plays
tell.
out. Yeah. I might have egg on my face and dust in my wallet. Yeah, exactly. Tether's going to 10x. Everyone who's talking shit about it is going to be wrong. It is going to depeg, but and not in the way you think. It's going to blow up.
All right, I'm going to do this giveaway and then maybe call the stream. Got to go to the store after this. More sparkling water.
Nice.
Also had somebody hit me up today that like I haven't talked to in I don't know how fucking long ago I lived in Bellingham, but he's like I met him in like the dorms my freshman year of college. and he's like a guitar player. But he's like, hey, like, do you still do mixing and shit? I'm like trying to find someone to mix and master a single for my band. I'm like, I do indeed. Out of the blue, someone I met
Damn.
like 10, 15 years ago remembers that I'd studied audio and hit me up. So kind of cool. See if he
That
is
is
willing
cool.
to pay me what I'm asking, but I'm always interested in mixing more stuff. Post-production work, also, I don't know. I love mixing music. The reason I stopped doing that is because it's a huge pain in the ass to find clients and like find people to work with. So people just fall into my lap. That's like I will take less than I quoted him. I was like, is this amount cool? If he says no, and I'm like, I will work for less than that then. But
Yeah.
I like mixing music. It's fun. Alex said,
Nice.
I'll
That is
invest in
fun.
Luna isn't good. Because sometimes green, sometimes it's dead. Didn't Luna like completely collapse? Isn't that the thing that had like
Luna.
the stable coin that lost peg?
Yeah, TUSD or whatever. USD
I
Tether.
remember the
That
friggin'
shit
crypto
hit
writer
so
guys were
hard.
really into that stuff.
So many people are trying to sell me on it too. They're like, "Oh, you can make like 20% APR and stuff." It's just like, dude, first of all, I can make more than that on just Uniswap, and I don't have to like remove like the ownership of my tokens, and I'll have to expose myself to some weird like Luna token that's being lent against these collaterals. Like from the start, I was like, I don't understand how this is making 20%. Like I do understand how I'm making 30 or 40% over here, but like I don't see how people are like, yeah, I don't know. And then like no one could ever explain it to me, and it turns out it's because it didn't fucking work. I haven't touched Luna since the beginning and before the collapse, and I still haven't fucked with it since. I think if you like the concept of what Luna was pitching back before they all like went to shit with this whole idea of like an issuing authority that's issuing stable coins that are collateralized by crypto assets and by cash assets, and run and managed by a DAO. Look at FarX, FarX Finance. That's what they do, and they're doing it like with hundreds of like million. I think they have like $600 million in stable coins issued right now. They have over $4 billion in like ETH stake, and it's it's like the real deal version of that, and it's one of the most open source like best teams in the DeFi scene, in my opinion. If you're into the tech pitch of what Luna was pitching, that pitch is realizable and like actually being realized by FarX Finance. And I fuck with that way before I fuck with Luna. But that doesn't mean you can't make money on Luna. I think everything, especially like Luna exists on a lot of centralized exchanges, especially after getting as big as it was. So it still has like traction. It has a lot of holders. It has a lot of has a lot of people waiting to sell it too. But you know, whatever I think you feel like is up your alley or up your tolerance level, I think that's what you should stick to.
Doesn't look like really doing anything.
I
The Wax has done much better, but it's sort of just
uh,
since it launched.
personally, it's just the way that they distribute it too, and like the token like distribution model is more or less, oh, we just distribute it based on however the DAO decides, and the DAO is just the people who hold the most tokens, which is just the founding team. So it's like, again, I prefer like the FarX approach of like an equal distribution of like shares of the protocol, and like I own a decent voting share in FarX because I think it's actually worth owning that protocol versus Luna. I don't see my share of voting rights having the equal value that I paid for them compared to what other people own, if that makes any sense.
It's sad that this is a higher market cap than Wax.
Yeah, this is like the remnants of a massive rug pull, like the biggest in history of like stable coins. I think they dropped like billions of dollars.
All right, let's do this giveaway. We'll do top 3 winners of this one. We'll win some woof for our last giveaway of the day. I got some some fun videos for tomorrow. I've been finding some stuff on Facebook and the internet. Dun 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 dun. I guess on Friday we can play more Counter-Strike since they added those new maps. Ready to try those out? Pretty much everybody just votes for the new maps every time when you're in the casual pool. I played a little bit last night, but I still haven't played enough to really understand the layout of the maps. I want to play ranked a bit, but like I'm trying to get my ass kicked in casuals until I understand the layout of the map before I try to just jump into ranked. KY got third. That'll be 1 million. I just wasn't able to read whoever got in second, but they will get 2 million and 3 million for first place. Pop and Stock got first, B Wicked got second, KY got third. Weird, Atomic Hub didn't load. Don't need it to load though. Did my internet go off? You still see me, right? I think our internet crashed. I don't understand how I can still see your webcam though.